Hello everybody and welcome back to GLC TV. In this video we have a match from our January tournament at the Clubhouse Games in Portland here, and this video was provided courtesy of Cory, who was able to record both this match from round 2 and also the finals match from that tournament. And so luckily we're going to be able to give you the game here between Zach and Cory in this round, and then we'll give you the finals coming up after that. And for those who don't know, this is the Gym Leader Challenge format. This is a custom format created by Andrew Mahone of Tricky Gym. It is a expanded era format that uses black and white cards on. It is a singleton format. No rulebox cards allowed, and only one type of Pokemon can be played in your deck. So we have Zach playing Fighting, is going to be playing on the left. And Zach is playing a variation of a recent archetype that has been getting popularity for fighting, which is the Penny Loop Okidogi Ancient Fighting deck. And the way this deck works is you have a very small number of Pokemon. You only actually Zach's only playing 4 Pokemon, but I believe the version I've been seeing going around is only playing 3. Doesn't actually play the Sandy Socks, just plays the Okidogi, the Slitherwing, and the Koraidon. And then what you're doing is you're boosting their HP with cards like Lux Cape, Cape of Toughness, and Ancient Booster Energy Capsule to make them very hard to one-hit knockout. And then you're using cards like Penny, Acerola, Scoop Up Net to pick them up, heal all the damage off of them, and then just be attacking with them right away once again. One of the cool tricks you can do with this deck with the Koraidon is that if you attack with the Koraidon, the Unrelenting Onslaught attack, it doesn't say that the ancient Pokemon you attack with has to be a non-Koraidon Pokemon. So if you attack with the Koraidon and then next turn you scoop it up back to your hand, the game actually loses track that that particular card was the one that attacked last turn. And so when you rebench it and then reattach your double colorless energy to it, you can attack right again, and the game says, yeah, you attacked with another ancient Pokemon. And we have Cory playing the Fire deck. According to the deck list Cory sent me, this is another one of Spence72's creations named Swamp Fire. I asked Spence over on the Tricky Gym Discord to tell me what sets this Fire deck apart from others. And from what I gathered, it's looking to be a bit more aggressive and disruptive than other Fire decks. Rather than taking time to set up the Burn Brightly Charizard, it's aiming to either accelerate energy in the early game with Volcanion, or also has the option to use the Ninetales from Obsidian Flames combined with Lost City to permanently remove an opponent's key support Pokemon from the bench in the early game, and then be able to pivot into big, efficient, basic attackers like Chi-Yu and Gouging Fire to keep pace with the opponent when they start taking knockouts. And finally, the raw power of the new Skeledirge from Surging Sparks to deal big damage for just 2 energy and possibly tank a hit, possibly with heat energy attached to get 200 HP, allowing the deck to pull ahead in the prize race. Salazzle and Magcargo together give the deck a way to both find exactly the card it needs each turn, while also generating a surprising amount of card advantage, while putting energy into the discard pile for cards like Blacksmith and Magma Basin. Alright, and here we go. And this game starts off with kind of an interesting situation here. So far, Cory has had to take 2 mulligans along with Zach. So both players mulligan. Cory found his basic after the second mulligan, and now Zach is taking his 4th mulligan, so 2 more than Cory did. And what happened here is Zach was talking to the judge of the tournament and asking if he could get a judge ball to save time. And what that means is that's when the judge, after you've mulliganed whatever number of times that seems inappropriate, the judge takes your deck, takes a basic, usually a random, and gives it to you as your starting basic. Normally, I check the rules. Normally, it's after 8 mulligans is when it is prescribed that a judge should step in to preserve time and tournament and player enjoyment and all that. But apparently, it is also at the TO or the judge's discretion. So the judge in this case said, we don't want you mulliganing all night. Once you've taken 4 mulligans, let me know, and then I'll step in. And so because Cory also had to take 2 mulligans, Cory's going to be drawing 2. And ironically enough, Zach also got a basic in his hand. Just something interesting, I wanted to call that out because this deck runs so few basics. Kind of the idea is you're going to take a lot of mulligans when you have 4 basics in your deck. And the other, I think the more optimized version, or the version I've seen online, runs only 3. And that's why you see cards like Red Card and Copycat in this deck, is to take advantage of the fact that your opponent is going to have such a huge starting hand off of all your mulligans. So Cory starting off going first, has the Vulpix in the active, gets the Battle VIP pass off of the Trainer's Mail. Fantastic way to start off your first turn, to find that Battle VIP pass. And going to be taking a look through his deck here, checking what he's got in his hand. Looks like there is a ball guy in hand, so he can possibly get some evolutions going. Probably wants to grab some of those evolving basics. Although Battle VIP pass great over Buddy Buddy Poffin since it has no HP restriction, so you can use it to get one of your big attacking basics. Looking at Cory's deck list, Chi-Yu, Entei. Oh, there is no Entei. Oh, but Volcanion. But no, Volcanion won't be able to attack since Cory's going first. And it looks like he's going to be grabbing Salandit and not the I can't remember the name. Cast Form. Puts Cast Form back, grabs the Chi-Yu. So we're going to get Salazzle and Chi-Yu. Surprised to not see the Slugma come out, or the Fuecoco. But that means that I'm guessing then maybe that either the Magcargo or the Slugma is prized. Alright, so goes back to Zach, attaches a Prism Energy to the Sandy Shocks and attacks for just 30 damage. Needs 3 energy, so 2 more energy in play to start doing 90 damage. And has the Koraidon on the bench. Back to Cory, Timer Ball. And he does roll ahead, so going to be able to grab an evolution here. Either the Ninetales, looks like he's going to go for the Salazzle. Normally the Ninetales would be a really great starter here, but to pick off small Pokemon for that 9 damage snipe. But against Zach's deck, actually kind of weak, since he can't knock out any Pokemon in Zach's deck with the 9 damage counters from the Ninetales, and it's going to be hard to hit back to back. So probably going to be looking to set up another more beefy attacker for himself. There is the ball guy. He's going to be searching out some balls. I suspect a Hisuian Heavy Ball is going to come out. Yes, there it is. Probably to find if that Slugma was prized. Going to get that out of the prizes. Also going to grab a Level Ball and a Nest Ball. And looking at the deck, there's actually not much that can threaten Zach's Pokemon in the basics without evolving. Okay, here's the Level Ball and the Nest Ball went and got Fuecoco and Cast Form. And there's the Slugma out of the prizes off of the Hisuian Heavy Ball. I didn't see what their other prizes are, except I did see a Rare Candy was in the prizes. That is a card that I usually will take note of when I prize check, because there's so many ways to search out items, and then if you know you have Rare Candy, you can search out Rare Candy to get your Stage 2 up into play, but you don't want to commit to your Stage 2 if you don't have Rare Candy in the deck. And going to be a pass from Cory, no energy. There's a double colorless from Zach on the Koraidon, and that means that Sandy Shocks is now doing 90 damage with that 1 energy attack, because it does say 3 energy in play, not 3 energy cards. So that double colorless does power up the Magnetic Burst to now do 90 damage. So Zach taking the first knockout, down to 5 prizes. Cory needs to start responding, because that Sandy Shocks is right now KOing nearly everything on Cory's board. Cory has an Escape Rope. He can attack with the Chi-Yu for the 140. And the Escape Rope's really good there because he is forcing the Koraidon out. Because what would happen is, if he knocked out the Sandy Shocks there, the Koraidon would just come out with the double colorless and hit for him for 180, and he'd be taking a lot of damage from that thing. But now if he can knock out the Koraidon, he will leave Zach with only the Sandy Shocks as his only attacker, which is restricted to 90 damage max. So he needs another energy. He did Iono, so he had the energy from the original hand. Played an Iono on the Chi-Yu. or excuse me, he attached the energy last turn to the Chi-Yu. He Ionoed, so now he needs to find one more energy and can start attacking. Venture Bag to get U-Turn and Lux Cape. And the fact that he didn't attach the energy right away has me concerned that there's not going to be any attachment to the Chi-Yu, and it won't be able to take advantage of that Mega Fire of Envy attack and possibly leave it stranded. And I don't think there's any fire energy in the discard for it to get back with Flare Bringer either. He could retreat it, could hard retreat and try to preserve it and send out something. He does find the Crocolore, it looks like, so evolved Fuecoco into Crocolore. And gonna pass. Just a pass from Cory, unfortunately. Is looking not good. And now he's basically switched in this Koraidon to be able to attack with that Onslaught. And he has found an Okidogi. Gets a unit energy and going to play Bill's Analysis here. So off the top 7 cards of his deck, he can grab any 2 trainer cards. This is a card I've been seeing more of. I think it's popular at our local meta. I don't really see it played in online lists, but it's a pretty cool supporter. The fact that you can get any trainer means you can get tools and stadiums, and we are going to see a Focus Sash grabbed off of the Bill's Analysis. I'm not sure what the second one is, but I'll definitely catch it in the edit. And going to put that Focus Sash on the Koraidon, which means that as long as that Koraidon has no damage counters on it, it cannot be knocked out in one hit. It will always get put down to 10 HP remaining. So another part of the strategy there with the Focus Sash to basically tank a hit and then scoop the Koraidon back up with a Scoop Up Net or a Penny or something like that. Heal all the damage off. If it's a Penny, he gets to pick up the Focus Sash too, but right now he's just going to use the Onslaught attack. Does 180 damage because he did attack with that Sandy Shocks last turn and going to take the knockout on the Chi-Yu. Cory going to send up the cast form. Does have the, what is it? I'm forgetting all the names. Skeledirge. I can't keep up with the new Pokemon. Has the Skeledirge, no energy on it. It needs 2 energy to power this thing up. Hey, there we go. A Raihan will do it. That energy from the discard that was on the Chi-Yu going to go on to the Skeledirge. And now it has access to any card in his deck. Can't get, maybe not a supporter, but he could try to find something like, no, not Magmason. I mean, just something to get energy into his hand. Probably Giant Hearth, if it's not in the prizes, would be great. If not, then something like a Professor's Letter. Yeah, that's right. He needs something. He needs a way to deal with this Focus Sash right now. I mean, if he does have to go the long game and can't attack this turn to get the knockout, might have to just go with the Magcargo. Interesting. He gets the Evolution Incense, and there's the Magcargo. Yep. He's going to have to set up this play over multiple turns. Probably going to have to use Magcargo. He can use Magcargo, get something on top of his deck that can get him energy, and then next turn, once he has energy in hand, he can Magcargo for something else, discard it to the Salazzle to draw whatever he Magcargos. So I think the best play here, get the Giant Hearth, put it on top of the deck. Next turn, you draw the Giant Hearth, you play it, you get 2 energy. One of those energy goes on to the Skeledirge. The other energy you use on the Salazzle to draw the Field Blower with Magcargo, and you take the knockout. Now, he's already 2 prizes behind. He's going to be at a 3 prize deficit, but he only has to knock out 4 Pokemon to win. Unless Zach can pick him up. He does have Lost City though. So maybe Lost City is another key part of this equation. I guess he can't play Giant Hearth and Lost City in the same turn though. So back to Zach. Now Zach does need to get this Koraidon either out of the active or... No, yeah, he actually does, because Hammering costs 2 fighting energy. So the second attack to do 110 will cost 2 fighting energy. Unrelenting Onslaught right now is only going to do 30 damage. So Zach needs to find a way to switch out. He could hard retreat, although I don't think he wants to burn his energy that way. Found an Acro Bike, so that's going to allow him to dig further. Looking for... interestingly, since Cory didn't break the Focus Sash, Floatstone and Air Balloon will not help. He's going to need either escape rope or scoop up net or another scoop up trainer. Grabs a super rod, it looks like. Oh no, discards the super rod. So we don't know what he got off the acro bike. An Arvin. Okay, there we go. So that's going to get him the escape rope he needs. And that's going to be rough for Cory because if he escape ropes, yeah, Cory's going to have to sacrifice either his attacker or part of his search combo, which is rough. I wonder if maybe you just sacrifice the Meg Cargo. He's going to sacrifice the Salazzle. So he must have a way to draw cards then, because that's the Salazzle is how he's going to draw the card he searches for with Smooth Over. So maybe he has a draw supporter in hand. And oh, he sent out the Sandy Shocks. Interesting. So he didn't have an energy ready to go. Okay, so Cory was spared there since Sandy Shocks does 90 damage and Salazzle has 100 HP. Usually a massive detriment since you can't level ball for it. But in this case, actually saved Salazzle from getting knocked out. So Cory plays the Professor's Letter, no doubt what he smoothed over for last turn. Finds 2 fire energy. But Cory is now still in a rough spot. Because now that Sandy Shocks is in the active, and that's not what he needs to knock out here. And if he doesn't do something about the Koraidon, it's going to come back and it's going to do 180, which is exactly enough to knock out the Skeledirge. So Cory did take a minute to think here. I did skip some of it, but is now going to use Smooth Over. He mentioned there was 2 cards he wanted to get with Smooth Over, so you had to decide which one. And grabs the card. Does have a U-turn board on the Salazzle, so he doesn't need anything to switch it back. Although, interestingly, how much damage is the Skeledirge doing? It does 60 plus 20 for each bench, which is currently 5. So it's doing 160, which is enough to knock out any of Zach's Pokemon except for Okidogi. And gonna use Salazzle's Roast Reveal to discard one of the fire energies to draw 3. So he draws into the card that he's just smoothed over with Meg Cargo, plus 2 more. And it looks like it was a Luxurious Cape. I'm imagining that's what he got. That's actually really good, because what he doesn't want to do here is just retreat and attack with Skeledirge and then lose his only attacker to the Crackback from Koraidon. So the Luxurious Cape is going to allow him to weather the attacks and still have an attacker for next turn. So Skeledirge is going to use Torcerto for 160. Although the attack is getting weaker and weaker for every Pokemon that he knocks out of Zach. So we're going to do 140 next turn. And back to Zach. Sends up the Koraidon. And no longer able to one-hit knock out this Skeledirge. Going for the tempo and resource management game here rather than the prize racing. Oh, but there's a Versus Seeker. And going to be able to get back to Arvin and possibly pop the Luxcape if he has the Field Blower in his deck. Wait, is he running Field Blower? Oh, I actually don't see Field Blower in the list I was given for Zach's deck. He's getting a Revive. Okay, yeah, no Field Blower, so that... Oof. A Revive, and it looks like either a Luxurious Cape or a Cape of Toughness. I'm not super well versed on the... I think that's a Luxurious Cape based on the artwork. So no Field Blower. It looks like it's not in the deck, so that would have let Koraidon easily take the knockout here. You know, they say a lot of people swear that you should never cut Field Blower from the deck in GLC. Others say different, including Andrew Mahone, if you watch one of his recent streams, said he'll sometimes cut it, but Luxcape is just such a powerful card that is so easily answered by it. So gonna just have to go for the Onslaught for the 180 on the Luxcaped Skeledirge, and hopefully he finds... All he needs is another energy for that Okidogi next turn, and then he'll be able to take the 2 prizes and knock out Cory's only attacker. And Cory has the Field Blower and the Lost City. He's going to be able to Lost Zone this Koraidon. Lost City, I have been putting Lost City in more and more of my decks. I've just been getting so frustrated sometimes with the endless loops that people try to recycle broken cards. I find Lost City to be a refreshing counter tech to sometimes what I could think are toxic play patterns of just repeating the same thing over and over. You know, GLC is a singleton format. Lost City enforces that, in my opinion. Lost City says this is a singleton format. No using the same Pokemon over and over. Put that thing in the Lost Zone, play, show what else your deck can do. And Cory, I really like it in Fire because I like it in any deck where you can like easily search it out. I think if you don't have a way to easily search out stadiums from your deck when you need it, it's not as good because you're not going to get it when you need it. But in Fire, you've got Magcargo. You can just search any card you need, basically quick search, as long as you have a way to draw cards that turn. And there's going to be the Roast Reveal. Uh-oh. It looks like Cory lost track of... So Cory just used Smooth Over before Roast Reveal, but saying the card he smoothed over for was not on the top of his deck. Not on the bottom. Oh, I went back and looked. He accidentally put the Smooth Over card into his hand. So it looks like they figured it out, and so he's just going to just draw 2 cards, and then the card that he smoothed over, which he doesn't have to reveal, went into his hand. A little scuffed there, but I think it's not too bad. Basically just drew two off of Roast Reveal, and he accidentally put the card into his hand. Got to be really careful about that, though, because it is hard to verify which card you searched out, and if you put it in your hand when it should be on top of your deck, it can be really hard to back up from that. So... Looks like we've got Vulpix returning with a Clara, so 2 energy back to hand. It's going to attach to the Gouging Fire and going to take the knockout now that he's got a full bench. And he Lost Zones the Koraidon, so Zach going to have to make do with Okidogi, which should be not too bad. In fact, Okidogi I think is probably the ideal Pokemon for this strategy. Although you can't attack with it with just 1 energy, which I guess is the only issue. Counter energy being discarded to Quick Ball to go find the 4th, which is Slitherwing. Ninetales is really useful. But going to grab... Did see a Pokestop there. Probably needs to get rid of that Lost City. Okay, Aurora Energy, discard Sada. So now Okidogi is able to attack. And it looks like a Cape of Toughness. So that Okidogi has 280 HP. Gonna Lost Zone Cory's... what is the thing called? Skeledirge. Returns the favor and gets to take 2 prizes. So has now got 2 prizes to Cory's 4. And so now Cory is going to have to figure out a way to take out this Okidogi, which with the Luxurious Cape has 330 HP. And the problem is he's not going to be able to probably just do it in like steps because Zach's got all these ways to scoop it up and put it back into his hand and undo all the damage. And if that happens to be a Penny or an Acerola, that's going to put the cape back into his hand as well as all the energy on the Dogi. It's going to come back down. Now, he does need to find a bench Pokemon, since obviously if he scoops up the Okidogi without having something to promote, he will lose the game. So we're going to have to figure that out. But right now, there's nothing that Cory has that can one-shot this, and he's already used up his Field Blower to get rid of that Focus Sash from earlier. So he's going to have to hope that Zach doesn't have a scoop up in his hand or a healing card. And so he did Blacksmith onto the Chi-Yu, and he's gonna send up the Chi-Yu and do 140 with Mega Fire of Envy. But if we look at what's on his bench, nothing. He's got 150 with the cast form. The Gouging Fire can do 170. Zach's just pointing it out now. The math does not add up. He doesn't have a way to get to 330 from 140. 170 with the gouging fire plus 140 is only 310. And there's no muscle band in Cory's deck. Oh, here's the Karina from Zach. Yeah, there's no muscle band. He does have Fighting Fury Belt, but that's going to leave him 10 short. And there's the Pokédoll. Okay, so he's got the Lily's Pokédoll. And if he's got he can't play a Penny, but he knows he's safe at least from getting knocked out this turn. He doesn't know that Cory doesn't have muscle band. So, I mean, so there we go. Okie dokie is going to take the knockout on the Chi-Yu. Goes down to 1 prize for Zach. And Cory sends up the cast form. If he had powered up that gouging fire instead, he could have threatened the 2-hit knockout here. It's unfortunate. I think he didn't quite do the math on what he needed, the damage he needed to deal. But yeah, if he did 170 times 2, well, I mean, the gouging fire would have gotten knocked out. So 170 plus maybe 150, that's only 320. Okay, we're going to smooth over with the Mag Cargo. He does have Fighting Fury Belt, but it's not going to be enough damage to knock out this Okidogi that he needs. He's going to play... Okay, he's got Fire Crystal. So he's going to get 3 Fire Energies back to his hand. That's going to give him the energy he needs to draw with Roast Reveal. So he can draw the card he smoothed over for. I'm assuming it's Fighting Fury Belt to try to boost the damage. Oh, a Heat Energy. Okay, so that's plus 20. So that Gouging Fire, it goes up to... And then I'm going to play Versus Seeker for Raihan. Nice, so he gets to accelerate some energy and search for a card from his deck. I'm assuming that Raihan was the card, and there's going to be the Fighting Fury Belt. Oh, okay, so that's interesting. Cory pointing out, yeah, he can't get the knockout here, but neither can Zach if he puts the Fighting Fury Belt on the Gouging Fire. That's going to put it up to 200 HP with the Heat Energy. Sorry, excuse me, 190. So the Heat Energy is doing it. So it's 130. I thought it was 140. 130 plus 40 for the Fighting Fury Belt. That's 170. Still would have gotten knocked out for the Okidogi. But with the Heat Energy, puts it up to 190, and it is out of KO range by the Okidogi unless Zach can find a Gust here. Since he doesn't have Field Blower, he doesn't have a way to deal with the Fighting Fury Belt. And Cory putting down the Ninetales and gonna go attack with the Gouging Fire. 180 with the Fighting Fury Belt. So what are we at? 140 plus 180, 320. He's 10 short. He just needs to do 10 more damage to that Okidogi. But yeah, as we can see, the Gouging Fire is out of Okidogi's KO range, but there's the Penny, and that's going to undo the damage. And now Cory is going to have to work on... He can 2-hit KO. Let's see. He can do 180 plus 150. If he can get that heat more, or if he can get that cast form powered up, right? He can do 180 with the Fighting Fury Belt, and then 150 for the 330 damage he needs. Oh, but the Gouging Fire is going to get knocked out. And Zach's going to probably take his last prize. So I'm not sure. I think, unfortunately, that did set back Cory one more turn than he needed. Let's see if he's got something. I mean, with Mag Cargo and Salazzle, you can find any card in his deck. Does he have an answer that can help him deal with this? Oh, he didn't attack. Okay. So, oh, that's right, because Okidogi couldn't attack. And the Guzma, he's got the Guzma. That's right, the Okidogi couldn't attack, so he had to just put it down on the bench and was just going to leave the Clefairy Doll up. Guzma going to bring that Okidogi up, now going to be able to hit it for 180, and the Okidogi can't hit him back. He can't take the KO back. And so if Zach doesn't have an answer to this Gouging Fire, his Okidogi is going to get knocked out here, and he might not have anything else to do. Oh, but he's got the Guzma. He top decked the Guzma. Awesome. So he's gonna bring up the Salazzle, send out the Clefairy Doll, and then discard it to its effect, and then take the final knockout with the Okidogi. And oh no, Cory's saying he had the Mallow and Lana when he had that Skeledirge out, and he could have won if he had just healed it. Misplay there, but the really clutch. Trying to bring it back with that gouging fire, with that big HP going up to 190 with the Fighting Fury Belt and the Heat Energy. Really cool tech there from Spence. I have not seen Heat Energy played in a lot of fire decks. That was the game. So we're going to see Zach moving on to the finals of this January tournament. Thanks everybody for watching. Hope you like and subscribe, and we'll catch you for the next video. Make sure you turn on notifications so you get an alert when it comes out.